doing two short videos for chapter 3. The first one is more of the resources that are available for chapter 3. The second one is about some of the concepts that I think are very important. So let's take a look. When you go into the course, if you go to course content and you go to chapter 3, you'll see that there are actually quite a few sections. Let me just reiterate, the pre-class survey, to avoid getting the message from Blackboard that you have work that you haven't done, what I would suggest is you click on the link, do the survey, and then come back, and then click on this, and you're going to do create submission, and you're going to write, something like that, done, and then you click submit. That will mean that you don't get a notification because Blackboard says, oh, you did the work already. All right. As always, there are the lectures and the videos, always set up with mini lectures where you'll find this one, the videos that the textbook mentions, and then lectures that were from the 15th edition. A few changes in the 16th, but this is for if you read a section and you say, I am really confused, then I would recommend going into this lectures and figure out which section was it? Was it culture and communication? Was it co-cultures? And then what do I have? 17, 14, they're around 15 minutes. Okay. So, oops, went too far. Okay. Please, I beg you, before class, you need to look at the topic of discussion. This is part of the homework, right? You look at the topic of the discussion and you think about it so that when you come to class, you are prepared to participate in the discussion. And what I'm noticing is some issues with the questions that you need to ask. Okay, what did you share with the group? What did the group talk about? It's not necessary to do a line-by-line recounting. It's more important to summarize and synthesize the ideas from the group. So instead of saying, Joe Schmo said, and then you go into he said that when he was 5 years old, he went to the store with his grandmother and he stole the lollipop and blah, 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 blah. You could say instead, Joe Schmo shared that at a young age he had gotten in trouble. He had broken a cultural norm by doing this. Okay, so you need to acknowledge that it wasn't just you talking. There were other people in the group, and you kind of summarize what they said. My guess is in the textbook, in the groups, you are potentially not referring directly to the textbook, which is something I would like you to work towards. But when you do the write-up, you can say, although we didn't mention it in class, Adler and Proctor talk about, age as a co-culture. And then you quote the book and you cite it correctly. For the discussions, I do not require that you do a works cited page. If you do one, I'm not going to take it off. Okay. Number 3 is how well did your group work? Was anyone silent? Do you know why? Did anyone monopolize? A very important thing is to let me know who the members of your group were. And for point number 4, I added relearn. So what did you learn or relearn from this discussion? It is potentially you learned something about the topic, and it's possible that you learned something about yourself as a communicator. Okay, maybe you didn't learn anything new, but you realized that something that you already knew was solidified. So that would fall under relearning. All right. In class, we will talk about the journal, but going forward, students always have a choice of chapters and a choice of topics. So let's say you decide you want to write about chapter 2, mediated communication. Do you want to talk about something that happened in your life in probably the recent past that had to do with mediated communication? Do you want to, I spelled this wrong. Do you want to talk about mediated communication as it was shown in a movie or a TV show? Or do you want to look at an article or video that I have posted in the supplemental material folder? Okay. And I give some points that you can/should cover in your journal. Something I'm noticing that people are not doing. When you save the journal, I want you to save it as whatever your last name is and the chapter. So, what was it, Joe Schmo has decided he's going to do chapter 2. He would write Schmo Journal Chapter 2. I do this because what I like to do is go in and download all of the work. And then I'll say, okay, well, I need to look at what Joe did for this journal. And I look and I see journal chapter 2, journal chapter 3, communication journal 2. I see journal, but I don't see anyone's name. Or I see journal 3 Schmo. So it's very helpful for me if your last name is in first place, because then I can find it easily. Okay. I'm going to get to the supplemental material in just a second. There's a quiz, as always. Remember, you get 2 attempts to do it. The highest grade will be the one that is recorded. The post-class feedback, you don't have to write anything here. You do that in the chat at the end of class, and then I just need a spot to attach the grade. So after class, sometimes Wednesday night, sometimes Thursday morning, I go in and I will put the grade in. Okay, but what I really wanted to show you was the supplemental material. So for every chapter going forward, there's extra material. You are by no means required to read this. This is if you're interested in the topic or if you're struggling to figure out what to write a journal about. For this one, this is the first 5 as general information that you would not use for the journal. These are ones that you could use. And I usually, if it's a video, I put the word video in parentheses, sometimes not in parentheses. Oops, this is a video. So some of them are articles, some of them are videos. What I do want, I'll talk about this later. Okay, so let's go back out here. All right, so this is an overview of how the chapters are set up from here going forward. Important points. Please make sure you do the pre-class survey. Please make sure you look at the discussion topic before class so you can come to class prepared. All right, see you guys on Wednesday.